What's up, everybody? It's Gary V, and this is the Sports Card Strategy Show. Because you know this, there is no off-season.
No off-season! When you get into this game, the reason why you pay someone like Paul Hickey to get your sports card strategy together is because when you're starting out, you need perspective, you need wisdom, you need insights. And so he's been around the track enough times where he can actually coach you up and guide you. Doesn't mean he's going to take you to the promised land tomorrow, but you now have a coach by your side that can advise and kind of even create these pathways where you can get the education yourself. And that's a lot better than thugging it out on your own.
What? The kids better buy my rookie card now, because after this year, the price ain't coming down.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Paul Hickey. It's time to sit back, listen, learn, and earn with me on the Sports Card Strategy Show. Data-driven sports card investing. Paul Hickey here with Lefty McKee. Lefty is got a lot going on in his life, and we're happy to have him on the Sports Card Strategy Show today. Before I give everybody the overview of what we're going to talk about today, Lefty, just real quick, how you doing, man?
I'm good. McLaren won back-to-back championships. Let's go. I don't care what's going on between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris at the current moment. I'm excited that the Papayas are back in the championship.
Awesome. Good stuff. Welcome in NoOffSeason.com family. Obviously, we're very happy to have you with us to help you make money flipping sports cards. That's what we're all about. On today's show, we're going to talk about the NBA is back with Topps. That's a topic that I have sort of questioned. When is it going to happen? We had the October 1st deadline where the licensing came over to Fanatics and Topps for the NBA, and I kind of went on a rant on last week's episode about why is there nothing? Why isn't there anything on October 1st? Well, just a couple of days later, we got an announcement. Lefty and I are going to break that down today. Also, Bowman U Chrome Football 2025 coming. Lefty, there's one thing that I'm way more excited to talk about than those two releases, and I am excited to talk about those two releases, by the way, and what to do about them. But new features at NoOffSeason.com, making it easier to pay the right amount for cards and find deals. So I'm going to demo that in front of you live today, which I know you love.
Yeah.
And so I've been waiting to announce these things to have you on the show to give me your feedback here. We're going to talk about how to accept PSA offers. That's something that we hit on a couple of weeks ago when you and I were on together. So I'm going to play a little screen share video from myself accepting PSA offers, just to kind of show everybody who hasn't seen what that looks like yet, that experience. And props to you. I'll break this down later, but I had an Ohtani raw to grade win at PSA that you will see. And I think you might already know what I'm talking about when I said props to you. And I'm accepting an offer in this little screen share for those Ohtanis. So pumped to show you that. How to cancel a buyer's bid on eBay and why you would want to, I think is something that I'd like to break down for everyone today, because that is a scenario that happened to me recently. And I want to tease the next Premium Pod episode because somebody asked me, and I thought it was a great question. Somebody asked me from our premium membership group to break down my CGC Pristine 10 Cooper Flagg Topps Now draft night, because I had 25 of those. 22 of them got Pristine 10s with the gold label from CGC, to break down the sales from that versus other grading companies, because I sent some to PSA and some to BGS. And so I'm going to do that on the next Premium Pod, which is going to be, it's going to be available to premium members on Thursday, October 16th. So, but today I have some of the sales data back. So I'm going to preview and tease a little bit. I don't have all the sales data back, but I thought you and I could talk about that as well. So if you want to spend $300 to make 10K profit, Lefty, all you have to do is join NoOffSeason.com now to get our tried and true strategies and tools to help you mitigate mistakes and risk and maximize wins and profit. You can use the promo code NOOFFSEASON to save 20% now. And I really want all of you to do that if you haven't already, because there's no reason not to. You can try $2 a day, $9 a week, $30 a month, or $300 a year. So the $300 a year is your best deal, basically. And then you get those member points. You get those member points you can use to join the premium member Discord, which is always on and popping. And then, who knows? We may or may not have the ability to help us host a show live like we did with George a couple weeks ago. So
that was awesome.
It was fun. We were just talking about that off the air. George did a great job. And we want, I think because George came on and added value and did a great job, it made me think, okay, we can do this again. We can do this again. I know there's premium members that have reached out to me saying, I'm already on the Discord. I have some member points. What else can I do with them? And so I think the hosting of a show, we had fun, right? You and I had fun. So why not try it again? And George did a good job.
Yeah, I really loved our engagement with George. I think you could, it's always fun for me to learn from others that are highly involved in the hobby. Like no matter how much we have our head in the sand about doing the development and doing the research and doing just the development that we have to do for our own portfolios, I'm aware that there's so much to learn from others. And I felt like I was in class with George a little bit. I was like, dang, this dude is doing stuff that I am not there yet, and that was fun for me to listen to, because like we have our lanes and we've been in lanes previously that we have experience in, but he's in a lane that we do not have experience in yet. So, and that's okay for me. But
no, I agree. I think there's a lot of people in our community that are very similar to that, whether they're at the 5-figure card level or whether they're at like the dollar box diving level and they're really good at that, or anything in between. So I agree. And that's why I like, kind of combing through the Discord to see what people are saying. There's a lot of intelligent people in our community. In the live chat right now, Chad Dyer, Richard Villarreal, Ryan Painter, and Terry Anderson all in the house. So we appreciate all of your support. And to whatever level you are in the nooffseason.com family, whether you're simply a Sports Card Strategy Show listener or whether you're a diehard member of nooffseason.com and you use it all the time in the premium package, we appreciate you. So, Lefty, we're going to keep it going here. Now, the NBA is back with Topps. So let me explain kind of what this means. I like to break things down from a factual standpoint. So 2025, 2026 Topps basketball, not Topps Chrome, Topps basketball. So this is a paper release, pre-sold starting this past Friday. So Friday, October 3rd is when it went on sale, the pre-sale at Topps.com. We talked about it on the premium pod, and now we're talking about it on the Sports Card Strategy Show because it's definitely a significant enough release. Even though it's a paper release, it's a significant enough release to talk about. As I go on the website now, Topps.com/pages/Topps dash basketball, the hobby boxes and the jumbo hobby boxes are sold out. As of right now, you can still go get the mega boxes and the value boxes. Lefty, the checklist is published. You see the photos up there. You see what the cards look like. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you get this thing started. When you saw this announcement, what went through your mind?
Well, my first thought was like, hell yeah, let's get after it. Like, this is definitely something that I've been waiting for a long time. I think as sad as I've been about the Panini Silver going out, I've been excited about how Topps could come into the basketball scene, considering I grew up with Topps basketball. I mean, Topps basketball was something that was part of the history of the game, for a long time. The modern history has been Panini basketball, but there has been Topps basketball previously. So from a humor standpoint, when I look at the website and it looks like, you've got the hobby box listing there, you've got the jumbo box listing there, it irks me, Paul, that at the very bottom it says look for one autograph and one relic card, but then on the jumbo hobby it says the same thing, but they didn't keep the they used the number 1 instead of just the word 1. That bothers me. Like, why not just keep the format the same? But anyway, that's just a silly thing, and it's on brand for Topps where the formatting is just off. Like that makes total sense.
Yeah, and it's great that you pointed that out because like definitely that is like a typo situation, but as you read that, you go, okay, well, look for the hobby box, look for one autograph or relic.
Yeah.
And then look for in the hobby jumbo, look for one autograph and one relic. So breaking that down for people, and people who are familiar with Topps baseball, they know that this is the case where you could get an auto, but you could get one of those stupid
the
number
one that's like
fake number
card.
Yeah, it's really silly. It's like a big, like it could be an Aaron Judge and it's a big number 99, and it looks really cool as you're pulling out of the pack, but it's literally just a relic that Topps made up that means nothing. It's nothing. It's not even from like no one close to Major League Baseball anywhere has ever touched that. It just came out of the Topps factory.
Yeah, the main thing I wanted to point out is I just wanted to remind people this is the Topps the Topps Series 1 equivalent to basketball. So it's going to be a ton of cards that you don't want. So is there cards in here that I'm really excited about? Yes. I think the cards that I'm really excited about are the rookie autos. You know, like I'm super excited for that beautiful looking Cooper Flagg auto that I probably will never get to afford. You know, I'm also excited for, I know this sounds silly, but I think his 40th anniversary, like his 40th birthday card for LeBron, I think will have some sort of value. You know, and we've seen other, like 2001 LeBron ends up having like a unique value. You know, like there's just some LeBron cards that have some extra value. I think his 40-year-old card could, maybe if you're painting a narrative on the wall of where it could be in the future, I think this could be a card that's unique. Maybe not like gonna blow it away like some of the other LeBron cards we're talking about, but I think there's just some cards here that I am interested in. Am I gonna buy a hobby box? No way. One, that's not our strategy. And two, I don't want 6 million paper cards that I'm gonna have to figure out who am I gonna give these to that's trick-or-treating at my house and at the end of the month. So that's just kind of where I'm at. I am overall excited about the product, but I'm not going out to buy any.
Yeah, I said on the premium podcast, this is a huge fade for me. This is a huge fade for me. And not because I'm not excited. I am excited. I'm excited like you. I think all of these rookie autos look sweet. I think that the rookie class is pretty solid. You know, I'm kind of excited about this rookie class, not only because of Cooper Flagg. Obviously, Cooper Flagg is going to be the guy out of this rookie class that I prioritize eventually. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I mean, Dylan Harper, number 2 pick for the Spurs, Ron Harper's son. You've got, I know you love Con Knipple, Lefty. You know, he's a significant player. There's a lot of other, I like Jeremiah Fears because he's the brother of Jeremy Fears, who's the point guard for my Michigan State Spartans. There's a lot of talent in this rookie class. You know, you've got Derek Queen. There's a lot of cool players that could end up being studs in the NBA from this rookie class. So I'm kind of excited about that. VJ Edgecombe in Philly, I think, is somebody also to get excited about. And so you're going to see a lot of these rookie cards when they hit the market, even though they're paper base cards, you'll probably see them selling for quite a bit. And the reason you'll see them selling for quite a bit is simply because of supply and demand. There has been no supply of Topps or Panini or any licensed basketball cards in this ilk for these players in pro uniforms. And so when they hit the market, they will sell. But if you're new to the sports card hobby, if you're coming back into the sports card hobby after taking a long hiatus, say maybe you collected when you were a kid, maybe like Lefty, these Topps cards resonate with you because maybe you're in your early to mid 30s and you're like, I remember these from when I was a kid. Maybe you're like me and you're in your early to mid 40s where you're like, well, I wasn't necessarily in on the top stuff, but I was in on the NBA hoops and the Fleer stuff. Okay, let me school you to something. What happens is there's going to be a billion more releases that come out after this release from Topps. There's going to be a billion more Topps releases that are licensed that come out. And as those releases hit the market, they are going to drive down the prices of this release, not only from a sealed wax standpoint, but from a singles standpoint. And so if you are looking to buy into this release, halt, stop, don't. Like Lefty said, this is a fade. We do not buy into this. We do not buy the wax. We do not buy the singles. The reason is because, like I said, there are going to be a billion more Topps releases that look just like this and or better than this. One of them is going to be the Chrome version of this release. The Topps Chrome basketball is going to come out at some point very soon within the next few months, which is going to totally obliterate this release, make it totally insignificant. And it's, again, to break down, this is not my opinion. This is the supply and demand. So as more rookie cards for this class hit the market, as more super short prints of significant players, like to Lefty's point, LeBron, hit the market from Topps this year, in the next calendar year, there is going to be more supply. The demand won't be able to keep up with that supply. The prices of this release will go down. The prices of every new release will be the highest that it will ever be. So the longer that you wait to buy into wax or singles, the more of a deal you're going to get. And so then on top of that, Lefty, what about the people who want to grade? Okay, let's talk about that. Will there be some opportunity to potentially say, get the first Cooper Flagg significant cards out of this release, maybe the first Dylan Harper significant cards out of this release, get them to PSA, get them in a PSA 10 and sell them for more money than you would raw? Will there be that opportunity? Yes. However, if we're going to sit here and we're going to go, oh, well, I'm just going to grade the Cooper Flagg base cards. I'm going to grade the Cooper Flagg autos, and I'm going to go buy the singles, and I'm going to grade them. What are we looking at? We're looking at several weeks, sometimes months, depending on the service level you want to submit them at, to try and get that premium. And by the time you get them back, there's going to be more supply on the market, like I said, and there's going to be more and more people grading those cards. So maybe the first Cooper Flagg base card out of this, and you can bet your butts we're going to document this, right, Lefty? But you're going to have the first Cooper Flagg base card out of this release that gets a PSA 10 might sell for $1,000. It might. But then, like, eventually it's going to be like a $10 card. And when I say eventually, I mean probably this time next year. That card is going to sell for less than the fee it's going to take to grade that card. Lefty, talk about that from your standpoint.
Yeah, the value of this is going to drop significantly. That's why I said like that it's the series 1 of the basketball release. We always see series 1 be a ripped product that people are so excited to finally see a new year's product. You know, like we're going to see actually this product all over our news feeds. We're going to see it on Instagram. We're going to see it on X. We're going to see it on YouTube shorts and TikTok or whatever. People are going to rip this. It's going to be all over Whatnot. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be all over eBay. Do not fall into the trap. And I think there are some interesting plays from this strategy. One of which I think Chad Dyer brought up in the live chat where he said Luka on the checklist and no Luka on the checklist. Interesting. I think Luka cards now, like, skip the whole checklist, go get into some Luka cards while they're not on the checklist. You know, like I actually another thing to say, like how many bullcrap cards are in this release. There are 68 pages worth of cards on the checklist. The checklist is 68 pages long. Now, there's some cards in the bottom half of this 68-page checklist that are really cool sounding. I'll give you that. You know, there's like some awesome veteran autos and these crazy cool swish and stitch and whatever. You know, there's like 1 in a gazillion to ever pull these cards. And I'll give them that. They're probably cool when they're 1 in gazillion, but we're not there for that. We're not there for that. There actually is a Spike Lee autograph in this set, which is kind of hilarious. But I would say like there are going to be other opportunities. And when we're talking on the fact of you saying these cards are going to be $10 next year, what's $10 right now? that a year ago was super valuable. Like, we talk about this all the time, but still it's worth noting, don't get blinded by the bright lights.
Yeah, and if you want some kind of validation on what we're saying, I mean, the thing that always comes to my mind is the Mac Jones Donruss 2021 PSA 10.
Yeah.
The Mac Jones base Donruss, I believe, sold for like close to $3,000.
Yeah.
And it's like it might be a $30 card now because he's actually played some games.
Yeah,
like
I'm literally typing it up right now. Mac Jones Donruss, just to see where it's at. It's a $17.99 card as a PSA 10 base.
And I'm sure if you go into Market Movers and you look at the all data chart, you probably see a $3,000 sale, and that is a legit sale. And guys, that's just how it goes. It's like, you know,
$2,500 the day it came out.
2,500. Okay, thank you. So like $2,500 is what it sold for. So I don't think I'm off when I predict that the first Cooper Flagg, I don't know if it'll be the base Cooper Flagg. I mean, but I do think, you know, to your point, there's rookie photo shoot autographs. I think those sound cool. The 1980-81 Topps basketball rookie autographs, I'm sure you can find pictures of them on Topps.com, but I assume they're going to look exactly like the 80-81, like Irvin Johnson, Larry Bird, like those cards. It could be a throwback to those. I'm sure there's going to be, you know, the Cooper Flagg autograph of that. You know, those are going to be, to Lefty's point, big sales. And you're going to see those cards pulled on the live shopping apps. And you're going to see the replay of those pulls on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and YouTube Shorts and everywhere, right? And it's going to make you want to buy into this. It's going to give you FOMO. And we are here to tell you, keep your $109. Keep your $24.99 for the value box. Keep your $50 for the mega box. You know, I don't know what the hobby jumbo box sold for because it's sold out, but I'm sure you can go get them on eBay, you know, on the secondary market right now. Keep your money. Buy things like Lefty just said. Put it towards a Luka 2018 Prism Silver, you know, and put it towards a couple of the things Lefty and I are going to talk about in a second. I'm calling it the back in time strategy. We've always talked about this. I mean, Lefty and I have talked about this since 2022, where it's like, what do you do when a new release comes out and you really want to buy into that new release and you're tempted? You go back in time, right? You go back in time. So what did I do last night? I made an offer on a 2003 LeBron James Topps paper PSA 9. And those have been selling for around $600. I found a seller who had it for $500 OBO. So I started my offer game. I'm like, look, I remember back in 2023, I was buying this card in PSA 9 and it was around $450 for a good price. Now it's selling for $600. I'm like, ooh, maybe I should have kept mine. Maybe I'd have 2 or 3 LeBron James PSA 9s that would be up $150. Well, I had the opportunity to go buy one for $475. I made the offer. First, I made an offer for like $425. It auto declined. Next offer, $450, auto declined. Made an offer for $475 and it was accepted. So I'd rather spend $475 on the 2003 LeBron James Topps 221 PSA 9 than buy into breaks, wax, singles, etc. from this release. So that's what I did, Lefty. And that kind of a thing is what I would recommend that everybody do.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength there. I mean, we've been talking about privately together and also publicly on this show that we are big on getting into LeBron right now. I actually bought a 221 as well last week for $505 for a PSA 9. So, you know, $15, $25, or I guess $30. Shoot. Yes, $30 more. I got one for $505 after fees. And then I also bought a PSA 8 of this as well for $275. That's already up, by the way. This card is already a PSA 8, I think, is already in the 300 and 310 range. So I think LeBron's going to go crazy this year. But before we top off the Topps, the last thing I want to say about the Topps thing before going into, you know, the rest of wherever we go from here, I have a question for you, and I think it's just for fun. You know, Obviously, we're talking about this release is not something we're getting in right now. And you slightly mentioned a guy that I think maybe you will be the answer to this question. But of the rookies in this set, if I held your feet to the fire and said you can't pick Cooper Flagg and you can't pick Ace Bailey, you have to go a little bit deeper. Who's your deeper guy? Who's your deeper rookie that you'd be interested in here?
I love the question. So I'm going to answer it, and I'm going to preface my answer with some more knowledge for the audience, because just to clarify, because I think this release is going to be a learning experience for me. I'm going to sit back and observe. I know you're going to do the same thing because we've talked about this. We're going to observe the singles sales from this release. We're going to observe the patterns that come from this release. Why? Because this is the first licensed release that is going to take us in an entirely new direction away. And you alluded to it, away from the base prisms, the prism silvers, and into maybe a new era where it's like, okay, is this the Topps Chrome base? Is this the Topps Chrome refractor replacing the prism silver? We don't know yet. But I'm excited about that. So I'm excited to sit back and observe. So what I anticipate doing is when the Topps Chrome release comes out, I anticipate taking a look at, okay, let's give it 3, 6, 9 months from there. And then we go back and buy the singles, right? Like we always do. So from there, I'm actually going to put out 2 names. I'm going to put one that's like my real answer because I got to give a real answer. The real answer is Walter Clayton Jr. I think Walter Clayton Jr. is a guy that has an NBA game, and he is the only reason he's a sleeper is because I think he fell just outside of the top 15 in this draft. And so but I think he talent-wise and NBA game-wise, he's as good as a number 1 overall pick to me. So I think he has number 1 overall pick hype potential from a performance standpoint, which is really what you want, right? You want the guy that's going to give you the performance spike. So when you look at the Utah Jazz and like the talent that they've added in this draft, they also added Ace Bailey, and I think you named him, right? So he's one of the more obvious guys. And Walter Clayton Jr. is coming off the national championship. He dominated. Yeah. And I don't even think I remember telling like my son Max and I were watching hella college basketball last year, and Walter Clayton Jr. was a guy that was just off the charts to me. And I kept telling Max, how is this guy not projected as a lottery pick?
Yeah.
He was never projected as a lottery pick. He was always projected as a 2nd round pick. He got into the 1st round because NBA teams, I think, wised up and said he can dominate. So he earned his way into, and I also love his story where he went to Iona. Well, he got a scholarship offer to Florida to play football, if I'm not mistaken. And Florida didn't want him for basketball, so he said, screw you, I'm going to go to Iona with Rick Pitino, and then I'm going to transfer to Florida. And then he dominated. I'm taking Walter Clayton Jr., but it's going to be a situation, Lefty, where Walter Clayton Jr. is a guy what I like about this is we're going to know if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah.
When it's time to buy into Walter Clayton Jr., because it's going to be towards the end of his rookie year or the beginning of his 2nd year when I actually start to potentially go buy into Walter Clayton Jr. cards. And that's why when you do it the right way, trying to make money flipping sports cards is not risky. A lot of people, I think, come in and they're like, oh, what you guys do is risky. What you guys do is like kind of throwing your money away, gambling. No, there is gambling in the hobby. We help you avoid the gambling in the hobby. What we do is we're going to go, okay, I'm going to look at this rookie class, but I'm going to look at it at the beginning of the 2nd year. Now, I'm making a prediction now. I think it's going to be a guy like Walter Clayton Jr. that I'm going to try to go after. The other name, I said I had 2 names.
Yeah.
I've already said Derek Queen. I think he's great, but he's not my guy. I think Jace Richardson from my Michigan State Spartans is another guy like Walter Clayton Jr. falling to the end of the 1st round to the Orlando Magic. Not a sexy thing, unfortunately, for him. But I think from the ability to put up big number. He could be like a Cam Thomas, where it's like, I bought into Cam Thomas and then I flipped Cam Thomas after he put up 43 games in a row. Jace Richardson has like that kind of ability potentially. Now they might be meaningless regular season games, but it still could vault his value. But I think Walter Clayton Jr. might be my number 2 after Cooper Flagg. And then Jace Richardson would be more like a, hey, I know about him. I know his game because I watched him a bunch. Let's take a flyer on him kind of thing. So just to have fun with it, that's where I'm at.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, there is going to be value somewhere in this set. And we do not have a crystal ball, which is why we're not saying go bet on these guys right now. I think we've got guys lower in this set that are in the second round or late first round, like Kobe Brea and Tyrese Proctor, who are names that people know, but they're going to be further down in the checklist. A guy that's interesting to me is actually a second round guy named Cam Jones from the Pacers, came from Marquette. Also, it's just a cool story. He gets to bleed blue and gold again. How cool is that he goes from Marquette to Indiana? Pacers should be a competitive team again. So I think Cam Jones, also with Cam Thomas on my mind, I'm like, cool, maybe that's the guy that ends up popping with crazy value where you could get his cards like $1.50 and then, they're selling for crazy money. But we just don't know. And I think that's the larger point here is like, these are fun names to talk about. And, it's our job to talk about tops basketball right now, but at the same time, we're not going out and buying Kobe Brea. We're not going out and buying Tyrese Proctor. We're not going out and buying Sion James, no matter if they were on the same flag or if they were on the same team as Cooper Flagg. It's not smart right now. And go back. And I said earlier, this is the top series 1. I think maybe a more accurate description is this is now NBA hoops.
Yeah.
Like you said, NBA hoops earlier. And I was like, this is NBA hoops, because every year people got excited about NBA hoops. And then you just find a crap ton of these bulk NBA hoops cards for no reason. I mean, look at the LaMelo NBA hoops. Like, he was like, the base NBA hoops for him, even when it came out, when it did, was still nowhere near the value that his Prism cards were at. That's obviously 5 years ago. But
that's a great that is a great way to illustrate the point. Like using the LaMelo hoops to Donruss, then to Prism. The Donruss got slaughtered by the Prism, and that was actually one of my first learning experiences back in the hobby, which is why it resonates so well with me, because it's like it was back in 2021, and it was like, holy crap! I thought. I didn't know at that time because I was just back into the hobby and I was trying to figure this thing out. And I remember people going nuts for the LaMelo NBA hoops cards. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden they were worth nothing. And I'm like, all the weird like media day poses and stuff. And so that's why. So there's a lot of you that are just starting in that are excited about this release. And I get that, but don't go. But and a lot of people will ask, well, what should I do? Observe. Just observe. Just take a look at what the sales. We built a tool at nooffseason.com that's free. I mean, half of it's free. Well, 33% of it. The card analyzer and predictor tool. But I mean, before we built the tool, I used to say, go to eBay and filter by sold items. Now you don't have to do that. Just use the card analyzer and predictor tool, the free version, because that's essentially what it is. The free version of it is you search for a card and it gives you the immediate sold listings, and it allows you to chart that. Now, if you want the analysis of your card, you have to be a paid member, but at least you get the data part for free, and it comes in handy. So if you're wondering like, well, what do I do? Is just observe, research, wait, like be patient. Or if you must buy something, look at our sports card rankings at nooffseason.com, or listen to what Lefty and I are buying. Like, he bought the PSA 9 LeBron at 505, which is a great price. A PSA 8 at 275. I got a little bit fortunate. Someone had this listing, maybe it's old buy it now listing at 500 or best offer. And I'm like, well, that's low. 475 is great for that card. Same card as Lefty in the PSA 9. And then there's here's an interesting one. I'm just going to throw it out there right now, Lefty. 10 tag grading is something that we have not talked about in a long time.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if this is a play, guys, but I'm just going to tell you. So as I'm searching for LeBron 2003 Topps 221, and I'm toggled, I have the authenticity guarantee toggle on as well. Thanks to our friend Janie Parasini at eBay. That was a pro tip from her when we had her on the show a few weeks ago. This came up. LeBron James 2003. This is how it's listed. Rookie draft picks RC 221. It doesn't even, this person is ashamed to put tag in the title. Okay. The photo, it's a tag 7. So it's a near mint tag 7. Here's what I know about tag. I know that tag is like a machine only oriented grading company, meaning like their whole value proposition is that there's no human element in the grading. It's all based on their technology grading it. And so by nature of that, I've seen tag get a lot of harsh grades, right? Like it's just, I've never seen a tag 10. I've never seen anything close to a gem mint tag because I think the machine grading is like slaughtering these. Like it's dissecting every little minuscule detail of what could be wrong with these cards and it's slaughtering the grades. So I wonder, there's this tag 7 260 or best offer. Do I make I made an offer. Here's the question. I made an offer. Let's see the offer history here. Okay. The offer I made was 225 declined. Then I sent an offer for 240. They sent a counter offer at 250. When you look at what a PSA 7, 7.5, 8 looks like, that 250 looks pretty good for me. You bought a PSA 8 at 275. I don't know if this would cross over. I wouldn't keep it as a tag 7, by the way. I'd crack it out and submit it to PSA.
Yeah.
This feels like, I don't know. What do you think, Lefty? I mean, you got to look
at
the
PSA
card
7
itself.
is selling for 240. So, I mean, that's a close comp to a PSA 7. I would argue that a PSA 8 is probably a tag 7, or maybe worse.
That's what I was thinking too.
So that's like one of the only grading companies that I feel really confident in going up a scale, because of the human element. Awesome plays though says
kind of
don't
wash,
do it,
right?
Paul.
Yeah, Carrie is awesome plays. He says, "Don't do it, Paul. Trust me, LOL." And actually, like it's kind of like it's a wash. So it's like, why wouldn't I just buy if I could buy a PSA 8 for the going rate of a PSA 8? Yeah, it's kind of this. It's maybe better. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on the tag, but it's interesting. It's interesting.
It is,
and like the person who listed it, it was ashamed to put tag 7 in the listing.
I can't even find the listing, so that's crazy. But
Josh
we've been investing in this.
Doesn't give value. Josh D. CGC Cards, the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards from their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing. CGC Cards is the perfect spot for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to grade today. Is in the house. CGC Cards. Josh B. George Schur. Carrie in the house. Just a quick little live chat check. Sorry, Lefty. Go ahead.
I will say that tag is the easiest to crack. Holy cow.
It is. Okay.
I mean, it's just like
I've never cracked a tag.
Like you can just do it with your hands, bro. Like, but I mean, just because of the nature of like their clean glass or whatever, then it's all basically just right there in front of you. Very easy to crack. Done
it's
a couple
all right there in front of you. Crack that tag, baby.
Crack the tag.
Lefty, anything else you want to talk about related to this? Because I know you in the show notes you have something about trying to pull trigger on something after your messy win. You want to hit on that real quick?
Yeah, so we've been talking about the 221 Topps 2003 PSA. Both of us have acquired one in the last week or so. I'm actively also trying to find a LeBron 111, the Topps Chrome PSA 9. Yeah. I've been looking at it for a little over. Once I realized that I was going to be able to have the capital for this, I was like, cool, I'm going to start putting in offers and kind of doing my due diligence on entering bids and stuff like this. But I told you guys on the show with George, I said, what my question to you was, if something was up 423%, what would you do? And then and then I revealed to you, oh yeah, by the way, it's a messy card I never thought I'd sell. Put it on auction as we were talking, because you guys convinced me to take, you convinced me with your arguments, not that you said to do this, but you convinced me to take it off of Buy It Now and let it auction and just see where it goes. So the end price was $3,600. After fees, that comes out to $3,276. So $3,276 in my pocket after fees, which is a profit percentage of 276.55%.
Hell fees. Yeah, brother.
Net
I don't
profit
know who in their right mind would be mad at you for that.
No, I think I'm a little mad, because I'm like, dang, that's my, that was like the card that I was like, this is going to hang on my mantle, whatever. But I know there's going to be more cards like that. We are not the kind of people that are going to hold something forever. That's just, even though I thought I was going to hold something forever, when you dangle 400% profit margin out over my eyeballs, I'm probably going to take it. So what I plan to do with this massive profit margin is put it into a PSA 9 LeBron James 111, because I believe that we'll see a same skyrocket of value at some point in LeBron's trajectory, especially as he goes on his farewell tour at some point. Whenever that gets announced, I think this card will get pretty crazy. And it already has fluctuated within $1,000 this week. There's been one that's sold for $1,200, and then there's been one that's sold for like $2,220. And it's just like, this card is crazy.
Because it is.
I mean, I know that you've kind of been looking into this card as well, and I'm sure we probably were bidding against each other at some point. But at the same time, it's like, what are you looking to pay for this card? Because I mean, I can tell you that I'm putting in offers at $1,650 that are getting denied faster than you can ever imagine. Like, it might as well have been automatic, and people are like, no, this card's going to sell for over 2,000, which they're probably right.
Yeah, it is crazy. I agree. I think, if I had to pick, say, 3 cards that I think are going to continuously go up in value into the next 5 to 10 years, which we all know is not my thing, but if I had to, this card would be on my list in the PSA 9 and of course the PSA 10, but even in the PSA 9, because of all the reasons that you just mentioned. And that's why I'm trying to get one of these cards as well. And I'm struggling the way that you're struggling, because it is hard to get right now. So what I've done is I've put this card on my try to get in the holiday dip, along with some Ohtani cards, because, for obvious reasons, like buying an Ohtani card right now while he's starting in the NLDS and, starting pitcher and, game winning hits and home runs and stuff like that. Not necessarily the best time to try to win a Shohei auction, but some Shohei cards like the 2018 Bowman Chrome batting. And then this 2003 111 Topps Chrome PSA 9 LeBron is probably number 1 on my list out of everything to try and get at some point over the next few months, but to really try and go after it in late November through late December. And look, I could be wrong. Like, maybe it's a $2,100 card consistently then. And if that's the case, I'll be a little bit less trigger happy, but I think I'll still probably try to make something happen, because I think this card's going to keep going up. I hope that there's a holiday dip for this card. I don't think that means that if you buy one for $1,750 now and then it goes down to $1,550 or $1,350 for the holiday dip, I don't think it's down forever. I think it comes back up $2,000, $2,300, etc. So I'm trying to get the deal on it. But I mean, look, if I won an auction right now at $1,650, which is, I think, where you said you made your offer, I'd be pretty happy with that. I don't know that I want to buy one for any more than that right now. I want to see if it comes down during like typically what is a holiday dip for just about everything.
Yeah, I think that. So there are some that are like the ones that are going to end on auction later today are going to end for probably over $2,000. There's one with 9 hours left, and it's at $1,880. So I think like I talked to a guy yesterday, and he said he has his listed for $2,000, and I said, how much room do you have on this? And he goes, I really don't think I have any room on this because I might have to relist this later this week. Because because like what he's saying I might have to relist this for 25. Like two grand might be like too small. And I think that's unique because there's some out here on Steel City Collectibles. There's one right now for a buy it now price of $1,750. So I mean, if you're looking at it, there's already 2 that are over the price of this on auction. So $1,750 could be a really good price. So
it could be. Yeah. I mean, I think
it's makes
one of
me
the
really
cards.
want to go just press that buy button and soak the extra $100 when I know I have the capital for it. But I don't know. Should I do it? Should I do it?
I don't think it would be a bad thing to do. I think it's going to be a card that's just over time, it's going to continuously go up. What's interesting is like, I compare that to the 86 Fleer Jordan in the PSA 1, 2, etc. Because it's like when you're talking about the PSA 9 LeBron Topps Chrome, now it's up into that $2,000 range like you're talking about. Well, now you could go get a Jordan. So you start to ask yourself, which one do you want? And maybe that's a gauntlet question for another day, but it's an interesting topic, like, and I just out of curiosity, that PSA 1 that I paid $2,100 for is consistently selling. There was a sale $2,800 on August 22nd and $2,600 yesterday, October 5th. So that's going in the right direction for me. And I know that that's not the topic at hand, but you just made me think about comparing those 2 cards because that's where my mind was at originally. Like my mind was like, I tried to go after this LeBron James 111 PSA 9 at around the 1,350 mark for several weeks. Well, it's gone up now above 2,000, like you're saying, based on where you think some of these auctions are going to end. So it's like happening way faster. I want to see, does it come back down during the holiday dip personally, but I would certainly understand if you can get one for really anything under 2,000 right now. It would make sense. It's fair market value for it. And at the NBA season, while it hasn't started yet, my concern is that there's a lot of hype about the NBA season right now because it's early October. This is reminiscent of a couple years ago. You said, hey, maybe we start selling baseball prospects in early March. Does it feel like that with the NBA right now a little bit? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I think I would say yes to that on almost any card other than in the LeBron scenario. Like I'm not buying other NBA cards right now other than LeBron because I think we are just on the cusp of. Do you remember when Brady had his last year as a Buccaneer and like mid-season in that last year, his market was going crazy because everybody was like, when he retires, when he's done, I want to be able to sell. And then that is the marker where his market actually didn't go crazy then because everybody had already spent their capital.
Yes.
And I just can't imagine that doesn't happen with LeBron. And I don't want to be buying a card after he announces this is my last year.
I agree. I think that's a great point. We've seen that pattern over and over again in different instances. Lefty and I just each mentioned 2 different examples. Basically, for those of you who are trying to track this, what we're saying is don't buy a card with the selling marker of, in this case, LeBron's retirement in mind. Buy the card, try to make as much money as possible on the buy side in an auction, but buy it with the potential retirement announcement in mind, because that's where everyone is going to be wanting to probably pay the most for his cards. And this is based on historical data, and things could change. I think the thing about LeBron is that intrigues me is that there should continue to be pockets to buy and sell him into the future. And because of the Brady example you just gave, it makes me think maybe the best pocket to buy, there's good pockets to buy LeBron right now, but possibly the best pocket to buy LeBron would be something like 6 to 8 months after he has retired, because we could see the cards go down from the hype that we're talking about and then go back up again over time like they have with the Jordan cards. I think that what intrigues me about the LeBron rookies is that because it's LeBron, there's no reason why 20, 30 years from now, these cards won't be way more expensive than they are right now. Now, am I willing to wait 20 or 30 years? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
I did it.
He did it.
You talked me into 1750.
We've been talking ourselves in circles, and Lefty pulled trigger. I was
like, you know what? Done. I was like, all in all, he hasn't announced his retirement yet. He hasn't, like, these are going to sell for over $2,000 today.
I
know that there's going to be. I'm going to look at that final sale of this other card at, even if it's at $1,900, I'm going to say, cool, I got $150 off the card that I wanted to move from a messy profit into.
And
all in all, dude, I just paid $800 for this card. I mean, that's the way I have to look at it.
Nice flip from the Messi into the LeBron, and you still have some cash from it. And here's the other thing too, where I've justified these larger dollar purchases to myself is that, guys, if you're scared for Lefty in any way, here's the thing. Like, he's going to be able to just list this card for $2,500 right now and probably get several offers over the next 9 months, pretty darn close to the $2,500, or somebody bins it at $2,500 over the next 9 months. So I'm not saying that you all should go bin one at $2,500. I'm saying you want to be the guy who wins it for cheaper on the auction side, on the buy side, and then goes and lists it. I mean, worst case scenario, Lefty makes a couple $100 on this card at some point. Best case scenario, he's patient enough to hold it for 3 to 5 years, and this thing goes up to $3,500, $4,500, $5,500 card. I don't think that that's out of the question. I think that it could go down to where Lefty bought it at or less 6 to 8 months after LeBron retires, but then I think it'll go back up again.
Yeah, I think there's a scenario where I might have to eat $700 of this, and it goes down to $1,000 or so. And I have to be like, frick, is it still worth holding, for the long term? And I think that's the case.
I think so too. I think it's a great card. The other thing Lefty had in the show notes, which I think is worth mentioning, is that we received our Cooper Flagg rated rookie Panini. So these are interesting. I first became aware of these with the Caitlin Clark. They're called the rated rookie retros. They are Panini instant. So they have the rated rookie like Don Russ has and Optic has, but they're paper cards. They graded very well overall for Caitlin Clark, and I made some money on Caitlin Clark rated rookie retro, even though I missed them from Panini Instant. I actually bought them. I can't
believe we did that.
Secondary market. I know. I actually bought the Caitlin Clarks on the secondary market. This time around, thanks to Turner, I didn't miss the Cooper Flagg rated rookie retros, and I did put something in the premium member Discord with a couple days left so that premium members of nooffseason.com who are in the Discord didn't miss the opportunity either. So what I do, I've said this a million times, but I understand, like, everyone's not always listening to every episode and things like that. And so a lot of people will ask me what I do. So I don't even take them out. I don't even look at them. I don't even take them out and look at them. I keep them in the Scotch Tape Bandit top loader situation with the bubble wrap and the rubber band. And I sent them off to PSA already. I didn't, all of them, all 50 of them. I had 2 grenades. For those of you who don't know, Grenade is the term that Lefty coined for the 25 pack. Mine are gone. They're at PSA. Lefty, what are you doing with them?
So I bought
going
two
through
grenades.
them one by one, and he's
going through them
dissecting,
one by
trying to
one.
figure out.
No, mine are still sitting here because I have 50 of them, and Turner wanted to buy a couple of them because at the time he didn't have the liquid to. Even though he sent them to us, he was like, at the time I don't have the liquid to get into a grenade myself. So he's gonna come over the next, because as you guys know, me and Turner live in the same city. But also a good time to shout out. It is the first week of Turner's senior season as a college basketball player. So he's quite busy right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's in college. For those of you going, well, how does he not have $109 to buy a grenade of, he's in college. And so
he's in
sometimes
college, he just got married. It's kind of wild for him,
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And here's the thing, guys, some of you might be rolling your eyes at me, but look, like I've had success with the Panini Instant. Like we've had people on the show in the past who have bitched about, oh, it's the Scotch tape, it's the this, that, the top loaders, the quality assurance, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Like, look, I get it. But at the end of the day, like these cards still have an amazing gem rate compared to just about any other card that you would buy other than the Topps Now. Topps Now has better quality control. Panini Instant, not as good, but still a much higher gem rate than anything else. And you're getting them at the cost per that makes the most sense. You could never do that with any other card on the secondary market. So, and ripping them out of wax and getting them is not economical either. So these direct to consumer print on demand plays with the upside of a Cooper Flagg from a player standpoint, do I continuously go in to buy Panini Instant and Topps Now Cooper Flagg cards? No, but the Rated Rookie Retro is a significant card in his current ecosystem of cards. So, which means I sell them all immediately when I get them back. Like these are not long-term holds because we already talked a minute ago about the supply and demand for Cooper Flagg cards. There's going to be more supply hitting the market with the Topps release. That Topps release might supersede some of the Rated Rookie Retros. Here's the good news. If you've already sent them off to PSA like I have, you're going to get those back several weeks before you would get the Topps basketball back from PSA, so you can beat them to the market with the Rated Rookie Retro. Like that is the game that we're playing. We're not playing the game of trying to invest in one versus the other. It's like speed wins when you're making these plays early on, because eventually Cooper Flagg is going to have way more expensive cards out, way more desirable cards out, and these Rated Rookie Retros are going to mean nothing, which is why I'm going to sell them right away. So, but I do think, the RPS first look I missed. I wish I would have got some of those. But I think we might be at the end of the Cooper Flagg print on demand situation after these Rated Rookie Retros. I think maybe I'm curious to see what Topps does, because if Topps does something similar to the RPS first look that Panini did, but it's licensed and it's a Topps Now RC Shield in a Mavs uniform, and it's somewhere between $6 and $12 per card for some jigglers with the potential to get some parallels and autos. That could be maybe the last one that I partake in. But I think we're getting to the end of the Cooper Flagg print on demand phase right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm personally ready to be out of the Cooper Flagg print on demand phase. I think this is my 9th print on demand from Cooper Flagg, and they've all gone well. Some of them have gone extremely well. The worst play that I've made with Cooper Flagg was the Bowman U, which was not print on demand, and so it's a boo-hoo. The worst Cooper Flagg thing I made was one that doesn't even count in this discussion, but
and that's a great segue into our next topic, actually, which is the Bowman U Chrome Football 2025. But first, wouldn't it be nice if there were a tool you could just upload pictures of a card and it would tell you what the card is, what it would grade, and or what it would be worth in the future? We have built one and it's getting better. We're going to get to that later in the show. It's the card analyzer and predictor tool. Go premium at nooffseason.com. Use the promo code nooffseason to save 20%. Now, we're also on a mission to help you find the best sports cards to buy at the right time, which is why we curate eBay auctions for you and we feed them into our top sports card auctions page. So if you're not sure what to search for on eBay to find the best cards, just go to nooffseason.com and check out our top sports card auctions. Also, we help with grading. So we offer CGC, SGC, and Beckett in addition to PSA. That's a new improvement to the website as well, Lefty, where now when you go to our grading page, you pick your grading company first. And then for those of you who know, you know what I'm talking about. You pick your grading company first, and now you can pick the service level you want. Before, we were only really offering like the bulk value service level for all the grading companies. And then you had to email me separately to ask if you could get a different service level and all that stuff. I've streamlined all that where you can just go ahead and order the service level you want. So we continue on with our data-driven sports card investing. Lefty, let's talk about Bowman U Chrome Football 2025 real quick, because that was the other thing that kind of came out in between our last episodes together. And I wanted to talk to you about this. So we have done pretty well in the college football licensed game since it started a few years ago. The Bowman Chrome University football has established itself with the Bowman First as probably the most significant card for these athletes as they have selling markers during their college career and then through like when they've been drafted and when they're playing in the preseason of their rookie year. And then after that, these cards kind of become obsolete as they get pro releases. But I asked you a minute ago about your initial thoughts with the Topps basketball release. What are your initial thoughts as you look at 2025 Bowman U Chrome football?
I think this is one of my favorite rips to look at. And here's why. I think it's because they're athletes that you can dream on. They're athletes that are expensive now, and they're athletes that you're watching at a national level all the time, and so and also when I think about, like, for instance, when I think about Cam Scatabo, I think about him in his college card more than I think about him in a Giants uniform. And I know that's probably because his rookie cards have not hit mainstream yet, but there are a couple athletes that I still think about from their card database. I still think about their college uniform cards more than I think about their pro uniform cards. And I think there are some athletes that are so out of this world in college that they still have a market. Of course, you think about Caitlin Clark in an Iowa jersey still, like Cam Scatabo in Arizona State uniform. I think Arch Manning in a Texas uniform will continue to still be something worth value. And Bowman U Chrome is a set that is not that expensive to get into. I remember last year we bought a couple of different hobby boxes and I broke exactly even on selling them. So I'm not going to do it again this year, but I did pull a crazy card out of this last year. It was one of the only things that I ripped last year. I bought 3 of them, resold 2 of them, and ripped 1 of them. And I got a, what's his name? Old Notre Dame quarterback that's now in the NFL. Shoot, it doesn't matter. I got a colossal auto out of this, and it's pretty sweet. So I'm wondering if our girl Carrie Underwood will be in this set. Slash Michigan's quarterback Underwood is who I actually referred to that as. So
Carrie Underwood, meaning Bryce Underwood. That's actually
yes.
One of the questions I had, because the checklist hasn't been released yet, although you can go to buy.
Yes, Riley Leonard. That's who I'm talking about.
So Lefty pulled a Riley Leonard. So here's my thing. While Topps basketball is a massive fade, I agree with you. I don't think this necessarily is a total fade because of its price point. I think At $140 a hobby box, you're looking for 2 autographs per box. So that's part of it. The other part of it is that these cards are not going to be obsolete right away. Like the Topps cards will. The Topps basketball are going to be completely usurped by the next Topps basketball release that's going to come out. That'll be, who knows if it'll be Finest, or if it'll be Midnight, or if it'll be Topps Chrome, whatever. There will be guaranteed at least 15 to 20 more releases from Topps Fanatics for NBA licensed basketball. There will not be any other college football Bowman releases that have any significance for these players that will usurp them. So when you look at these photos, because the checklist is not out yet, you do see a first Bowman for Lenoris Sellers. Now, Lenoris Sellers is someone I would have been way more excited about a few weeks ago than I am now, because of like South Carolina is not as good, and like while he still is projected as likely the top overall quarterback in the 2026 draft, it's still super early. He could suck. His team could suck. He could get injured. You know, he's drawn some comparisons to some experts from Cam Newton, comparisons to Cam Newton from some experts. So he has like this number 1 overall draft pick upside, where if you were to pull a Lenoris Sellers, serial numbered first Bowman or autographed first Bowman or something like that, or even if you were to grade a non-autograph refractor and get a PSA 10, you could definitely make some money if you were to buy and rip this release. However, it's still not a recommendation. It's not I would not recommend this as a money-making strategy to buy this release, rip it, and try to grade. Nor would I recommend it as a money-making strategy to try and buy any of the singles from this release with any kind of selling marker in mind, just because historical data will show that you're always paying the most when you're buying the singles after the release first comes out. You have to wait until several months down the line when comps go down in value, and then you want to try to buy slightly on the way back up, but definitely not buy right away in terms of the singles. So, and I think we also need to know a little bit more about how things will shake out for some of these guys. John Mateer is also, an interesting one. I think this would be his first Bowman in this, although I can't really tell for sure because of, again, no checklist and just some photos here. I don't think Bryce Underwood is in this with a first Bowman, because I think if he were, why would he not have a photo? I mean, I know he hasn't necessarily lit the world on fire, but he has played pretty well, and he was the number 1 overall player in his class. I mean, he's one of the more hyped up. I would, to sell this release, if Bryce Underwood had a first Bowman, I would bet money that everyone would want his photo of his first Bowman on here. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know. I think the fact that we don't know what the checklist is probably, it's probably another, I'll finish my thought. It's probably another reason not to buy this release. So I am leaning towards towards fading this completely. The other thing I'll bring up real quick is, like, for both the Topps basketball and the Bowman Chrome University football, Topps.com, you can download odds. So the call to action button above buying the actual product, which shocks me, is download odds. So what that speaks to me is like twofold. I think number 1, conservatively, it's like Topps wants to give you information on your likelihood of getting the different parallels and the different hits. Okay, fair enough. But it's also a breaking thing. It's also empowering breakers to promote their breaks, and it's empowering people to buy into breaks with confidence to see, okay, what are my odds of getting some type of a hit if I were to rip wax or buy into breaks? Maybe people listening to the show for the first time don't know this about me, but I hate this.
Yeah.
And I think download odds probably has been there for a long time, but I don't like it. I
knew your blood was gonna boil on this. I could see it coming, and I was like, maybe he won't talk about it. And I was like, I knew that this was gonna be something that was gonna get you all fired up, as it rightly should. I think this sucks. It sucks because they're like, oh yeah, you really want to know the odds about what you're getting into, or whatever. If you have to know odds for something, don't you have an argument that that's gambling your money?
I love that take. Yes, 100%. 100%. Odds is synonymous with gambling.
Let me offer you another. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you another one of my famous Lefty questions. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
We've talked about going back in time on releases. We've even talked about it this week, or like in this episode, where we go back a calendar year. Let me go back to 2023 Bowman U Chrome, and let me throw a name at you, and let me know if you're buying or selling right now. Dante Moore. Dante Moore has autographs in his UCLA uniform for Bowman Chrome, who is the quarterback for the Oregon Ducks right now and is currently number 2 in Heisman odds. Would you be more interested about going backwards, buying a Dante Moore autograph, even in the current environment of his team is really succeeding right now? Succeeding. Where are you at with Dante Moore?
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued enough to look and see what card I could get and what the price point would be. And so just a quick eBay search, Dante Moore refractor auto out of $499 from 2023 Bowman Chrome. There's still 6 days left on this, but $26, 2 bids. You know, I mean, if something like that ends at under $75, which I don't know that it will. I mean, it could very well be like a $150 to $200 card. I think that's way too expensive. I think if it ends around $75, I think you can make some money on that. So I think it just depends. I think you have to make your money on the buy side with a play like Dante Moore, because the market is showing that the people who own these Dante Moore cards believe it's a really good time to sell him. And they're right, because people are bidding and the cards are looking pretty expensive right now. So it might be too late, because again, this goes back to what we talked about on this show as well, where it's like, are these selling markers earlier? Like, do you have to sell a Heisman candidate when he's a Heisman candidate versus buying when he's a Heisman candidate and selling when he wins the Heisman? I'm kind of leaning towards, you gotta prospect earlier and then sell when he's the candidate.
Which is what I did with Marcel Reed, everybody. So have a day, Marcel. Even though his odds are at plus 2,000, I made money on his after getting PSA 9s back. I got money. So the overall take here was going to say Dante Moore is not a buy right now. That's where I was leading down the road to say, even though we've said multiple times and many times in the past, go back a year. Now is not the time to be buying Dante Moore, because he's in the thick of a Heisman race. You know, like he's number 2 only behind the dude that looks like Sid the Sloth. That you had a bazillion of his cards at one point at the National.
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck, yes. And so Carson Beck is leading the way with Heisman odds, but you've got Dante right there with him. And so, by the way, I do want to point out that Turner did another good thing in this discussion. He pointed out some Julian Sayin autos on Panini's website a couple of weeks ago, and I ended up getting 2 out of 99 base auto Julian Sayins for basically the same price that those Dante Moores are going for. And Julian Sayin, I think, is going to be something special. So
I think Julian Sayin is a guy that you could find cards for now and make money. I agree with that. I think he hasn't come close to his peak moment or peak weeks yet. I think he's still very early. I mean, those moments could come like any week now. So I wouldn't wait too long on Julian saying, but I definitely agree. I think that he's a guy that could be a buy right now, depending on the card, depending on the price, depending on like if it's an auction, that sort of thing. Couple, good things in the live chat here. Andrew McDade says he counterpoint to my point about the odds. He does like the odds because you can figure out print runs on Topps products, unlike Panini. So I will like give Andrew credit for his counterpoint, because I am someone who's pro information and pro data. And so I definitely see that point. I think having it published to where we can get it is phenomenal. I think promoting it as odds is really the thing that bothers me. The information doesn't bother me. I love the information. I don't like when the information is withheld either. I just don't like that it's kind of like, hey, let's rip wax by into breaks, everybody. Awesome Plays, who's Carrie, also says like he makes a lot of money with Bowman, finding it easier to buy and rip boxes. And he says the odds are better. And he adds the LOL there. Nat, who's a premium member at nooffseason.com, says great show as always, guys. We appreciate the comments in the live chat. Lefty, good stuff from you there on the Bowman Chrome football discussion, especially with the Dante Moore and the Julian saying one being a buy, the other not being a buy. If you like the content on this show and want more, go premium at nooffseason.com now to get unlimited advice answered on our podcast for premium members called the Premium Pod. Go premium at nooffseason.com. Multiple pricing tiers, weekly, monthly, and annual, and daily, actually, which is weird, but $2 a day. If you want to do that, you can do that. Use the promo code NOOFFSEASON, save 20% now. All right, so it's time for me to brag a little bit about the features at nooffseason.com that I want to show off to Lefty. So Lefty is going to be, he should be pretty hype about these, because actually,
because I think I recommended it.
Many of these were his recommendations.
Come on.
So let's see if he remembers. So now when you go to nooffseason.com and anywhere you see an auction, whether it's our top sports card auctions page, whether it's the sports card rankings that you click on that take you to the auctions for that card. Now, any auction you see a button that says see sales data. Now, Lefty wanted this because he told me what he was doing is he would copy the title of the listing in the auction. And in another tab, he would open up the card analyzer and predictor tool, and he would get the pricing. And so I thought, what's a little bit more seamless of an experience for this? Well, now, for example, for this Jaden Daniels Prism Silver PSA 10, 24 bids, 3 hours left. It's at $1,025. You can just click see sales data, and it loads in a modal window, and it works really well on mobile too. It loads the recent sales. And so you can see the recent sales. It sold for $930 on October 2nd. If you want to chart out some of the more recent sales, okay, here's one $930. Here's $1029 on September 29th. Here's $1061 on September 28th. You get the average price there of $1,006.67. If you want to click out of the modal window now with that information to either bid or pass on this card, now you can. Or you can go right into our card analyzer and predictor tool, because essentially what you're doing is you're starting the process of the card analyzer and predictor tool. So it works that way as well. When you chart the card, then you can upload your photos, go into the centering tool, etc. And then also,
I love it.
Thank you. Speaking of our card analyzer and predictor tool, another a few things here to note. All right. Number one, it used to just show the most recent LeBron James sales. Okay, now
I was cool with.
It shows the most recent sales from a plethora of athletes that we believe are some of the top investable athletes at the time. And it just shows you their most recent sales from eBay. So it's not picking any one particular card. It's not picking any one particular athlete. It's picking people like Michael Jordan, Bobby Witt Jr., Shohei Ohtani. You've got Jaden Daniels. I mean, the list goes on and on of like some of the top, Victor Wembanyama, et cetera, et cetera. So you're seeing just the most recent sales for some of the top players that we recommend, which I mean, I don't know that they're like, I'm not saying that that's super valuable information. I just don't know of anywhere else that you can get that. So I figured, hey, why not just put that as the default screen all the time?
That's fun.
The card analyzer and predictor tool.
It's funny I often forget how many cards are out there of all these players. You know, like you once said, I think you had said like there are 30,000 or something CJ Strouds and 5 are worth investing in.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was a quote from the Dave Ramsey of sports cards, Paul Hickey. But you know, like I'm going down the list, like look at that card right in the middle. That is a Bobby Witt Jr. card that I would never buy. First off,
somebody bought it for $1.
Wildly off center. Holy moly. But at the same time, I didn't know. I mean, I forgot he had that one. So there is some value in this, and it's fun. And just to scroll down and know what athletes should I be leaning on.
Yeah, it's fun. Like your stinker tinker time. You might just want to be like, okay, Paolo Banchero, like Mosaic Red Wave just sold for $20. Like, that's weird. You're taking a dump and you get that information. That's kind of fun.
But yeah, you got Paul Skeens patch autos selling for $450. Like, let's go.
Yeah, like, I don't know. You got like, I forgot that you could even buy any kind of non-rookie card for any player. And here's a non-rookie Anthony Edwards out of 75 from Select, sold for $25 today. Interesting. I mean, so anyway, so now that's one thing. The real thing here though is like, now let's say you want to get into the card analyzer and predictor tool and you've got an Anthony Edwards Prism Silver and you're like, I'm going to put this fucker in the tool, and you go search and you're about to start your analysis of it, because the first thing you have to do is you have to go start charting these things. So you're like, okay, I'm going to find this. I'm going to chart it. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the chart. And then you get in and you're like, well, what if I want to buy another one? And you're like, oh, the price is right here, right in front of me. Click find deals now, Lefty. Just click find deals. And it automatically creates for you a look at the auctions ending for the card that you searched for in the card analyzer and predictor tool. Now it's not going to be perfect. You're going to get some cards in here that are different than the one that you intended, but you're going to get mostly at the top, the ones that you intended. And you know, okay, well, this was a $200 card. Well, let's see, here's a $92 auction with 14 bids. Let me go ahead and check that one out. Boom. There you go. So Lefty, how do you feel so far? I got a couple more things here that might blow your mind.
I'm just clicking through, doing my own research already, because this is exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to be able to circle, because like once I find a card, once I like one, then I can just continue to go back into data from different cards. It's like, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. You're the man.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that. That makes me happy. I was looking forward to this episode. Now, have you ever been, say, at a card show or just in the comfort of your own home or anywhere in between, maybe local card shop, and you got your phone and you're like, or you're in your desktop and you're like, man, you know, I don't feel like typing right now. I got a photo of this thing and I just want to upload the photo and see what this thing is. Okay, well, we have worked. I mean, I know the answer is yes to everybody, because I know there's other things in the world that do this.
Yes.
There's other things in the world that do this. Market Movers does it. There's a bunch of other apps that do it, where you can scan the label of a card. You can scan the photo of a card. It's going to tell you what it is, etc. Well, I'm excited because we have finally started developing our own technology at nooffseason.com to do this. And eventually it's going to allow us to do a lot more exciting things than what I'm about to show you. But in the meantime, I'm pretty excited to show you what it can do right now. So if you go there right this second, it might not be there, but I am pushing it live sometime within the next 24 to 48 hours at nooffseason.com. So later this week, you're going to be able to do this where now on your phone, you can take a photo and you can click use image and it's going to do what I'm about to show you on the desktop. But you can also do this. You can go upload card image. And right now for PSA slabs only, but it will be expanded out into further functionality in the near future. You can submit and it's going to say analyzing your sports card. And then it's going to say processing card image. And then it's going to say something else cool, running computer vision analysis. And then it's going to say identifying card details. And then it's going to analyze your sports card. And then it's going to process the card image. And then it's going to bang, show you cert number 119004902, Mint 9, Panini Prism, Jaden Daniels 347, Neon Green Pulsar, PSA Pop 828, PSA Pop Higher 718, most recent price of the PSA 10, 201.50 average price. PSA 9, most recent price $50, average price $48. From the PSA card registry, bang, photo uploaded, photo taken, there it is. So I know this already exists. A lot of you might be yawning right now, but to me, what this means is, okay, a new feature at nooffseason.com for premium members, which would allow you to do this and save a little bit of time. You're out at card shows. You want to see the price on something. You want to see the pop, all that stuff. Now premium members of nooffseason.com can get it. But sooner rather than later, this photo recognition technology is going to be what powers the card analyzer and predictor tool, is my vision. So that you can still type in, you're still going to be able to type in the card that you want to chart and get analyzed through the tool, but you will also have the option of first getting the photo recognition like that. So I'm super excited about that. Lefty, what do you think?
Yeah, this is all very, very sweet, man. I think more than anything, you've done a great job about taking a website that has, at one point, all we were doing on here is updating sport player rankings. You know, we were just like, hey, this is the top 10
baseball cards are the ones that you should buy. Yeah.
Exactly. And the data on and we were probably behind on number 5 through 10, on their if you were to click in it, we would actually probably have been behind just because we didn't have AI doing half of it, and so it's just look where we are, bro. Crushing, absolute incredible value for the consumer. Especially if you are actively pursuing sports cards as a part-time or full-time business. I think this has to be a place that you're at, because there's so many tools right at your fingertips for the yearly price that's incredibly cheap in comparison to everything else that we do. And you're getting your money's worth. It's just a no-brainer.
Thank you, Lefty. I'm super excited about where this photo recognition and AI technology can help us get just our overall member dashboard and experience when you log in, to be able to see a lot of these things that we've been building as kind of tools that exist in silos that you use are going to start to come together a little bit more into a real member dashboard where you can see your scenario, your recommendations, your portfolio, maybe some sell alerts within your portfolio. And again, I know that these things exist in silos in other tools, but I'm trying to bring all of them together at nooffseason.com along with our rankings, which is the only place on the planet where you can get sports card rankings updated in real time, sorted by the ROI percentage you're likely to make in the future. And if you're ready to start grading your cards, I said it earlier, CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. All right, Lefty, we got a few more minutes left in today's show. So one thing I wanted to show is how to accept PSA offers. So I'm going to share a video here and kind of breeze through it and just talk through it as I breeze through it. But essentially, for those of you who don't know now, when you get a grade reveal, you will have 24 hours to determine what you want to do. And in this particular grade reveal, I had some offers that I wanted to accept. These are filler cards, where the Marvin Harrison Jr. Panini Instant, for example, where Lefty and I talk about what's a filler card. A filler card is like you want to make a bulk value submission, but maybe you've only got 17 real gradable cards. Well, you take 3 that are like filler cards and you go ahead and put them in there. So I had Spencer Rattler, Marvin Harrison Jr. This is kind of what the process looks like. What I really wanted to get to show everybody, Lefty hooked me up because when we were at Fanatics Fest, he said, hey, I know you're buying Shohei. Here are 2 BGS raw card review 9.5s of the 2017 Topps Now off-season OS 80 Shohei Ohtani. And I was able to negotiate a deal. I believe the price raw that I got each card for, there were 2 of them. I bought them both for what would have, I think I got them both for $110. So $55 a card. Lefty remembers that to be.
I was remembering it to be $60 a card, so that's probably very close to what you paid for it.
I think the sticker, you're right. I think the sticker was 60, and then I think I just made an offer for 110, and he accepted. And so I cut them out of the BGS. First I listed them on eBay immediately with the raw card review in the 9.5 because $55 was going to get me a profit based on recent comps. I think recent comps were much closer to 100 for the BGS 9.5 raw card review. There were some comps. So I was not able to sell them in that format. I did not auction them. I had a buy it now or best offer. I did not receive offers. So a lot of times what I do in a situation like that is then I grade it at PSA if I don't get the offers. So I cut them out, graded them at PSA. They each got 10s. Thank God they got 10s because I am so sick of not getting 10s at PSA, which is another topic for another day. But they got 10s and immediately had 168 offers on each of them. So I went and I checked how much I paid for them. There we go, $55 each in the inventory tracker at nooffseason.com. Then I went to the card analyzer and predictor tool and I said, hey, what are these actually going for? They were going for $200. There you go. So I went back, accepted both offers, and you get paid right away. So it's that simple what it looks like. Offer accepted, and then you don't have to deal with getting as many cards shipped back to you. And I think the only thing that came up that's interesting is, like, for me, I'm bulk submitting and I'm submitting cards for a lot of different premium members at nooffseason.com. And I've offered this to premium members. Premium members have said, will you let me know if my cards get offers? And then will you accept the offers for me and pay me out that way? Sure. Happy to do it. What's weird sometimes though, is let's say, Lefty, you're a premium member and you submitted 5 cards through me. Well, maybe 4 of your cards got offers, but 1 didn't. So now I'm in the situation where it's like, I got to ship you 1 card back. I was going to ship you 5 cards back. The shipping cost for me was going to be the same. So now I'm in a situation where it's like 4 of your cards got offers, but 1 of them didn't. What do I do? I'm kind of landing on maybe I offer you an offer for the 5th card just to save myself some money, because shipping you 5 and shipping you 1, to give you 4 in an offer and pay you out, but then also pay the shipping back to you for 1 from a business standpoint doesn't make as much sense for me. Now for premium members, I'm probably just going to go ahead and do it, but it's interesting just so everybody knows, not all of your cards actually get offers. So I'm happy to do it for you, but it's just an interesting situation there.
Yeah, I
Lefty,
think that
anything
happened to me. That happened to me kind of where I had one card in the entire set that I was grading for somebody else, and I had to pay the shipping return on one card, which was the same as if I was going to return any of them. And it's just like, So you
either like don't let them know that they have offer, or you're like, oh no, you didn't get any offers, dude. Or you're like, yeah, you got an offer, but this other card,
they hate all of your cards.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sometimes it's like, well, I'll just make the like if you want, I'll buy this from you or whatever. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. I'm trying to give everybody all the information so they can determine that, be transparent. The two other things I wanted to talk about on today's show real quick. One is how to cancel a buyer's bid on eBay and why you would want to. This can be a relatively quick thing. So why would you want to cancel a bid? Well, and this kind of goes into the last topic of the day where I wanted to tease the CGC Pristine 10 Tops Now Cooper Flagg sales versus the other grading companies, which I'm going to unveil on the premium pod on October 16th, the full analysis. But if you Google how to cancel a bid on eBay, you will likely find this page in the help section. And when you're logged into eBay, you will be able to see like your cards that have bids right now. So like when you're, again, this is the help section of eBay, but when you're logged in, canceling bids and managing bidders, if you search for that in the eBay help, ebay.com/help selling, there's a couple different ways to find it. You could Google it, or you can just go to ebay.com/help and then search canceling bids and managing bidders. When you're logged into eBay through your browser, you will see the items that have bids right now. So you can see like I have bids on several of the 2025 Tops Now Cooper Flagg CGC Pristine 10s. So if you were to click into any of the cards, you can select, I want to cancel bids from a specific bidder, or I want to end the listing early and cancel all bids. The reason why you would want to cancel bids from a specific bidder is if they message you through eBay and say, I made a mistake, I would like you to retract my bids. And the reason is because I thought this was a different card, so what happened here is it happened with one of these Cooper Flagg CGC Pristine 10s I'm showing you. And what happened exactly was somebody said, I thought this was the gold foil out of 50, not the CGC Pristine 10 gold label. So they had gold in the search, but my gold label came up and they thought it was a gold foil out of 50. So they, I presume, put in a bid that would far exceed what this card would sell for actually in a CGC Pristine 10 gold label. Why that would be bad for me as the seller is because if somebody would have paid me $50 for this card and they were the next highest bid, but the person that had the max bid in, say maybe closer to $1,000 for the gold foil out of 50, this card might have ended at $200, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700. Well, that's not going to get paid for. And so now I'm SOL because I would have loved to have just made 50 or 60 on this card. And now I have to relist it, right? Or I have to do an offer to the next highest bidder, which I don't want to do. So I gladly canceled bids from the same buyer on 3 different Cooper Flagg CGC Pristine 10s. And so that's how I did it. So I think this is something that you want to think about. This is something that, a lot of times you don't need to do this, because if you're selling, if you know it's going to be a $250 to say higher card, or it's going to be a $75 or higher card, and somebody wants you to retract the bid, but the card's only at $20, you really don't have to. You could just probably tell them like, look, it's going to go for way more than what your high bid is, and it's going to be totally fine. But in a case where like every bid counts on these Cooper Flagg base CGC Pristine 10 gold labels. So I really wanted to cancel the bid. I figured out how to do it. That's how I did it. Lefty, have you run into this before?
Yeah, I have. I think There's been twice where I've run into it as a seller and twice where I've run into it as a buyer. As a buyer, there's twice that I've made mistakes on entering too many zeros at the end. Like, so instead of a $30 bid, I will bid $300 or something like that. And I've tried to request, and the 2 times that I have done it, they haven't even responded. They were just like, you are going to just be SOL on this one, my man. Luckily the bids didn't exceed where I was going with it. One of them actually was on the PSA 8 of that LeBron 221 card that I ended up getting it for like $275. I think my high bid on that was like $700 or something crazy. And so somebody could have just taken me for everything I'm worth, but
luckily you didn't get somebody like who really, really wanted that card, but not $701 worth. It's one of those things where it's going to depend on what card it is. It's going to depend on where it is in the bidding cycle. I think, I've run into scenarios where people have asked to retract the bid and it just hasn't mattered. Like I just know that they're going to get outbid. It doesn't really matter. But in this scenario, I looked at it and I'm like, wow, I really don't want 3 of these things going unpaid for. And I'll be disappointed. They'll be disappointed. It'll just be a whole thing. So I think it hit me of like, okay, this is good. This is a good time to use this, because if it's a card that like really needs to sell and you have bids, and I think these cards really need to sell now. These Cooper Flagg graded Tops Now cards are about to become pretty obsolete for many reasons that we've already talked about on this show. And so I'm just excited. I'd rather have them sell for $30 or $40 now than have to relist them and, a week to 10 days after when they would have sold for $30 to $40. I think we're in a pocket where they might sell for even less. So I think that's why I did it. That's why I wanted to talk about it. So that actually leads me into, how are the sales going on these? Well, I had 25 of them. My cost all in, everyone else's cost all in would have been right around $28 to $30 per card. I have sold some for as high as 125, 112. Auction, those were buy it now. Auctions have ended more around 50. So when you're taking the eBay fees out, and then, you're looking at more like a net takeaway of around $40 to $44, subtract the 28, you're looking at about $15 to $16 profit per card off of, conservatively off of the 22 CGC Pristine 10 gold labels. I did have 2 just gem mint 10s from CGC, and they each did okay. They each sold for right around $25. So we're looking at definitely a profit, like a good profit off of the CGC Pristine 10 gold labels. However, the market responds to them more on where the opening bid starts versus like the confidence of a PSA 10. So for example, and I don't have any PSA 10s back yet. I'm still waiting for my Cooper Flagg Tops Now draft nights from PSA, which is why I'm not giving like the full breakdown analysis just yet. But I will want to give a full breakdown analysis. I plan on doing it on October 16th on the premium pod. I'll at least have all the sales data from all of my BGS slabs. I'll be able to compare CGC to BGS in that episode, hopefully some PSA. But the point is, there's so much confidence in a PSA 10 that it really doesn't matter where you start the opening bid at. Word to the wise here, auctioning off CGC slabs, definitely err on the side of a higher opening bid that will put you in the profit that you want to be at, and then lower accordingly if you need to, because my experiment was, okay, I'm going to start some of these at around $9.99. I'm going to start some of them at like $49.99. Well, the ones that I started at $49.99 are selling for over $50. The ones I'm starting at $9.99 are selling for more like $30, $35. So there is a significant, I think, difference in that. And I think it has to do with just the lack of overall market confidence in a CGC Pristine 10 versus a PSA 10. But Lefty, what do you Well, what do you think of that whole deal?
Yeah, I've also I've been selling all of mine through the PSA vault. So I'm like, we talked about with George, I have like this conspiracy against the offers and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, I can assure you that that's not happening. And I was like, your assurance is not worth my level of distrust in the system. But my latest Lefty conspiracy is that they don't market the CGC or SGC slabs the way that they market the PSA slabs on their own search engine optimization platform. Like on their, so my CGC slabs for Cooper Flags, and my SGC slabs for Cooper Flags, I've got some interesting data on that as well for different parallels of Cooper Flagg cards as well. So, if you need that data, I can scalp through my sold listings as well.
I mean, it would be interesting. We'll probably have some people ask for it, but you don't feel obligated to do it. I know you got a lot of other things going on, but it'd be interesting. I mean, Janie Parasini, who runs the product at eBay, she's a big deal. She's been a premium member at nooffseason.com for the last couple of years, which I did not know until she was on the Sports Card Strategy Show with me a few weeks ago. And the reason I didn't know is because
was she the one that got lost at the National? She was like lost in a stairwell and we couldn't interview her.
She was supposed to be on the interview with Mike Nett. Yes. Yeah, Janie, if you're listening, were you lost? Let us know. But we got her one-on-one. It was great. She did a great job. But her thing, it would be interesting to have her back with you so that you could just ask her, A, were you lost in a stairwell? B, when someone searches CGC 10, are you like not showing results because it's CGC and you have a deal with PSA? Like, what's up with that? I don't know. I mean,
what's up with that?
What's up with that, Janie and everyone else at eBay? We're joking. Lefty's not, but I am. It's okay.
I'm almost joking. I'm very almost.
Lefty, this has been a great episode. What do you have to add? What's your parting shot for today?
My parting shot is I actually do have a large amount of trust for eBay and PSA. I think they're two institutions that we often complain about, and we would not be able to do what we do in our hobby without those two companies. So give themselves a little bit of grace. I'm talking to myself and all you naysayers out there that hate FeeBay and the scamdom of PSA and all this kind of stuff that you see on all these like forum pages of people that don't ever make any money. So,
and I'll go on the record and say, I not only trust PSA and eBay, but I also trust CGC, Beckett, SGC, many other organizations. I also trust Topps and Fanatics. I also trust Panini. I know that these corporations have effed up from time to time, but I know that's what happens. I have made way more mistakes at nooffseason.com that like premium members know about, where I've had to apologize. Like I messed this up. It just happens. Like it happens in any organization when you have customers. And I don't think there's any conspiracy. I don't think anyone's out there to try and get anyone. Yes, there are shady people in the hobby. Most of those shady people in the hobby are probably breakers. I said it. It's fine. We all knew it was coming.
Vinny's going to be pissed.
Yeah, I know. All right, everybody. Have a great day. We love you all, even the breakers. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. If you enjoyed the content on today's show, there's plenty more waiting for you at nooffseason.com. Just go to nooffseason.com right now. You get our formula-based sports card rankings, sports card school, inventory tracker, the ability to grade with us, and the premium podcast where we answer an unlimited amount of your questions. Check it out right now at nooffseason.com. For everyone at nooffseason.com, I'm Paul Hickey. Thanks again for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.